Trevor Bernard here. I come today to look at some of my sheep and goats, and we're going to compare and look at the differences between sheep and goat rearing in Jamaica. Now right here I have a lot of mixed breed. I have both Katahdin, Black Belly, Darper. My sheep are all mixed. And one of the first things you'll notice about sheep is that they are not very friendly. They tend not to be so much sociable with humans. As you can see, even the kids, if you touch any of the sheep, they'll walk away. They're generally not going to come to you and be very friendly. You'll find one or two sometimes will be friendly, but generally speaking, sheep are not very sociable with human beings. As you can see, goats are very much more sociable. You can see the goats is here playing with us. Not one of these sheep will be sociable with us. They will not come and be friendly with us. So, sheep's, what is the advantage of rearing sheep? Well, I rear my sheep as my goats because whenever I feed the animals, whatever the goat eat and leave, the sheep is going to eat it. The sheep just clean up the place. They clean and eat everything. There are certain things that a goat don't really like. For example, African star grass. The African star grass. Goats tend not to like it so much. My goats don't really not fond of it. But the sheep, if you give it to them, they just eat it off. It doesn't really matter to them. They eat any grass you feed them with, they'll eat it. They are not so picky like goats. Sheep tend to, when you carry them out in the pastures, they usually feed on the grass first. And when the grass is finished, then they will eat other forages like leaf forages or trees or support. A goat, not the grass, they go for the forages. They'll climb trees, they'll eat legumes, they'll eat all these things first and go to the grass last. So those are some of it. So goats are browsers and sheep are grazers. This is the word and the terminology that we use. Now, another thing with the hardiness of sheep. Sheep will feed out in the rain, in the cold. You know, they'll feed in the muddy environment. They'll just go out there and feed. But if you do that with a goat and carry them out into the rain and feed them into the rain and you know, have them with the elements out there in the environment, they will get sick. So goats are more sensitive and, you know, easier to get sick. So goats require a lot more attention than sheep. That is my personal experience over the years. Also, goats tend to breed more. You always get in 2 and 3 and even 4 sometimes out of goats. In Jamaica, I find that our sheep, especially because of the introduction of the Darper breed, we tend to mainly have in single births. Very rarely we have twins, and very, very extremely rare that we have triplets. I have never even had a triplet on my farm before, but I've seen it in other farms. So the multiplying effect of sheep is not as good as goats. But what happens is that the mortality rate I have found with goats is much greater. A sheep, a lamb will just born. They like to say a lamb will born running on the ground. A lamb will born, and as soon as it's born, very, very, as the mother finish clean it up, you'll see that lamb running up and down all over the place. Goats usually take a little more time, you know, and sometimes, most of the time, you have to help the goats with the kids. This is what I have found over the years. You know, and the parasites is one of the things. If you even have a goat, you know, I remember carrying goats, and when you're walking through pastures or you have to pass a river, the goats will not cross the river. The sheep will follow you and cross the river. So, you know, see this little fella here coming to play with us. So these are some of the differences between goat and sheep. But one of the most important things though is that sheep almost eat twice as much as goat. They eat non-stop. And their growth rate is much, much, much greater than goat. Goats are very picky eaters. They are very, very picky eaters. And they tend to like their feed being very clean and, you know, smelling good, and they like fresh, clean feeding. A sheep will almost eat anything. So that is also very important. So one of the things is that I always like to say that when you're rearing goats for milk and meat, And sheep is just very, very good with meat production because they grow so fast. So I think sheep is the best meat producer in the small ruminant sector. So I'm going to touch some of these sheep here now and you'll see the response. You see that? We're just not going to allow you to touch them. They tend to always stay together. They always herd and put all of them always stand together, as you can see right here. They all stand together all the time. Now, in recent times, I've been trying to move towards the black belly because the multiplying effect of the black belly is very good. You know, they'll have 3 and 4 and 5. Now, the black belly though is a smaller sheep, maybe half the size of a darper. But because you're multiplying so much more animals, you know, your production actually increases with these animals. And also, the hairy type sheep, like the black belly, Katahdin is another hairy type sheep, but the black belly is a hairy type sheep. When you butcher these animals, the meat almost looks very similar to that of goat. Very lean meat. Hairy type sheep are very lean on the meat, which is what Jamaicans like to use to make their curry mutton, which is the sheep, or your curry goat, which is the goat. So, what I would recommend anybody who is going into rearing goat, new farmers, even farmers who are now rearing goats or sheep, it's always a good thing to rear both animals, and you will see the differences of them, and you know, you'll see which one you like. So if you're a new farmer, rear some sheep and rear some goats, and whichever one you prefer, then you can always select and do whatever you like. But I like rearing goats and sheep together because they are both have their advantages and disadvantages. So as usual, thanks so much for watching, and keep watching. You can look at the side of this goat. You notice a mark on her belly right there. These are some of the things that you have to look for. It looks like she has a cut or maybe an infection there. I don't know if anyone saw it, but I just turned and see it. This is one of the things that's important, that you have to pay close attention and inspect the goats. As you can see, she's trembling right there, and a lot of flies are going right there on the area. And she's trembling, or you know, she's using the vibration of her body to run the flies off her skin. Because they will lay eggs. So you can see what she's doing. They will lay the eggs in that and create a problem. You have to pay attention to that. Rowan, you see the cut on the side? Yeah. Look there. She have a cut and fly troubling it. See it? To prevent, whenever I have an infection, one of the things that I use is Ectoline. Yeah. One of the things I like to use is this product, Ectoline. It's a silver spray. And when you spray it on the animal, it has a coldness. So I think it has like a freezant or something like that in it. And whenever you have maggots or cuts or anything like that, this is a great product to use on it. Yeah. So I just spray some on it, and that will keep away the flies and you know, stop if any infection or anything might happen. So you have to pay attention to these cuts because fly strike can become very dangerous. As usual, it's always great to bring these contents here to you. Please continue to subscribe to my channel and keep watching as I share with you all the things that I learn on my farm and the things that I've learned over the years. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.